Hello there. All right. So if you're watching this video, you've either tried this and you just want to check your answers, or maybe you want to do this one with me. That's all right. I am here for that. What I'm going to do is I am going to start with all of my fractions, I think. It's a good strategy. Do all the fractions first, make sure I'm solving those all the same way. Getting a decimal, then getting a percent. Then I'm going to do all of my decimal problems. Get a percent, that's easier. And then work backwards, get a fraction. And then I'm going to tackle my percentage problems. I feel like that's a good strategy for solving these. Let me just focus that a little bit better. All right. First one, 1/4. Now for this one, you don't have to show your work necessarily. So I know that 1/4 is 25%. I know that. That's something that we've practiced a whole bunch. It's a quarter. So I am going to make that a 25 decimal and a 25%. If you did not just know that, however, probably wondering how I got there. So let's try something. No, I won't use a sticky note. I'll do it all down here. All right. 1/4, I want to turn it into a decimal. I could divide. I could do 1 divided by 4. But I happen to know that that's going to work out of 100 because I know 4 times 25 gives me 100. So 1 times 25 is 25 hundredths. And that's where the decimal comes from. 0.25 is 25 hundredths. And 25 out of 100 is 25%. The next one is also fourths, but it's 5/4 this time. And I already know 4 times 25 gives me 100. 5 times 25 gives me 125. So this one's actually going to be bigger than 1. As a decimal, 1 is 4/4 and 1/4, which is 25 hundredths, which makes 125%. I'm going to skip ahead to this guy here, 3/8. 8 does not go into 100. I'm going to have to divide. 3, numerator goes inside, divided by 8. Try to make this a little nicer for you guys. 3, nope, 8 goes into 3. It doesn't. So I need a decimal place to hold my place value, and then I can annex a 0. 8 goes into 30. 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract. 0 minus 4, I can't do that, so 3 becomes a 2. It's a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 minus 2 is nothing. Got something left over. I have to annex another 0 and bring it down. 60, 40, 48, 56, 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 goes into 60. 8 times, nope, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, not an 8. Double check myself there. I knew that sounded wrong. 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. 5 minus 5 is nothing. I still need to keep going with those zeros. Oh, 8 goes into 45 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is nothing left over now. All right, now I have a decimal, 0.375, 375 thousandths. Where was I? 3/8. Now I need to turn it into a percent. I've kind of just been doing this. I haven't been explaining it. When you turn a decimal into a percent, the percent is out of 100. This is out of 1,000, not out of 100. So to get from a decimal to a percent, you can't just take those numbers and call it a day. You need to multiply times 100. Just going to shift my place value 2 places. And I get 37 5/10%. Last but not least, we have 2/5. So I'm going to start as a fraction. I know that 2/5 can get me to 4/10. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. And tenths, from there, I can get to hundredths. 10 times 10 is 100. 4 times 10 is 40. So this is going to be 4/10 or 40 hundredths. I know 4/10 as a decimal, 0 and 4/10. And then 40 hundredths as a percent is 40%. So those are all my fraction problems being turned into a percent. To get from a fraction to a percent, the foolproof way that works every time is what we did with 3/8. First, you divide the numerator by the denominator, and that will give you a decimal. And then take your decimal and multiply it by 100. That gives you your percent. But sometimes you can do equivalent fractions and get a fraction out of 100, and then take the numerator, and that's your percent. So now let's start with the decimals. A decimal times 100 will give me a percent, because a percent is out of 100. So 78 hundredths times 100 is 78%. 2 hundredths times 100th is 2%. These two are similar in that I'm going to have a decimal answer. So if it was 64 hundredths, it'd be 64%, but it's a little bit more, so it's going to be 64 7/10%. Now this one is in the tenths, but I know that that's really 80 hundredths, which is going to give me 80%. That is not 8%. This is 2%. 8% would be 0.08. This is 80%. They're two very different things. All right, so I went from my decimal to my percent. Now I need to go from my decimal backwards to my fraction. Well, when you say a decimal, you say it like it's a fraction, right? I said 8/10 for this one. So 8/10. 647 thousandths. 647 thousandths. 2 hundredths. 2 hundredths. 78 hundredths. 78 hundredths. I could stop here, but bonus points if you take these fractions and simplify them. If you can. 78 is even and 100 is even, so they're both divisible by 2. I don't know that by heart. Oh, wait. Half of 80 is 40. This is one group of 2 less than that. It's going to be 39. 39 50ths. This one, I can divide both of those by 2. That's 1/50th. This one, I'm not going to try that one. It's fine. This one, 8/10. Divide them both by 2. 4/5. I'll take either of these answers, but if you simplify the fraction all the way, you get bonus points. All right, but only if it can simplify. So I wouldn't give you bonus points for that one, which doesn't simplify, that we know of. So all that's left are the ones that start as percents and need to work backwards to a decimal and then to a fraction. If you go from a decimal to a percent, you're multiplying by 100. So to go backwards, you divide by 100. You know what? I'm actually going to do the fractions first on this one because all I have to do is put a line and put the 100 under it. So 125 over 100. Oh, wait, didn't we have that one? We totally had that one, right? So I know right off the bat that will simplify 5/4 and be 1 and 25/100 as a decimal. All right, cool. 3%, 3 out of 100 is 3%. And 92% would be 92 out of 100. As a decimal, 92 hundredths, 0.92. As a decimal, 3 hundredths, 0.03. And now all I need to do is think if I can simplify either of these. 3 is not going to work, but 92 is even. Half of 90 is 45, plus 1 gives me 46 out of 50. But wait, there's more. Those are both even. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 46 is going to be 23. And that would be a bonus point answer. So that is the worksheet for fraction, decimal, and percent. There will be a problem just like it on the test, just like there's problems like all of these on the test, but I promise you I won't give you this many. This is for practice. If you have any questions, just like always, send me a Google Hangout message or leave me a comment on this video in Google Classroom. Bye!